So rumor has it there's a guy in this shop back here that can make your wood look and feel better than you've ever imagined for the cost of a single beer. Let's go check it out. So this is my buddy Jim Rice, a fellow Air Force veteran, and he, oddly enough, the whole time we were flying together, I never knew he was an avid woodworker, and here he lives a stone throw away from me, and he builds some really awesome stuff. Anything from full-blown furniture to shadow boxes to display cases for rifles, that kind of thing. So this is Jim Rice.
Howdy.
And, well, let me ask you. So here's the thing. So since I don't know a lot about wood or woodworking, I relied a lot on Jim to suggest or recommend what he wanted for these cases, this shelf that we're building. So Jim, what and why did you pick the wood that you did?
Well, it's two answers really. I think that walnut was the obvious choice. I had a local dealer where I could get some that I could find some with resaw marks on it still, and the other fact is that it's two different colors. So you got your sapwood, which is a real light creamy color, and then you got your heartwood, which is black or brown. But with what you're wanting to add this into your living room with, I decided that that'd be the way to go. Everything kind of matches.
And let's take a look at the piece here. Alright Jim, so for this project we decided to go with walnut. Could you explain the differences and the characteristics in walnut?
Sure. I went with walnut, one, because it's beautiful stuff. I mean, it's got a nice dark color, and once you apply a finish to it, it gets that much darker. The second reason is it's a nice hardwood that'll stay for centuries. This stuff comes from here in Arkansas, and it also has some another thing to it that people might really like. Now, a lot of people kind of tend to gloss over it because they see two different colors and are like, oh, I don't want that in my project. But for what you're building, we really want it. So here it is. This is called sapwood right here. That's right there between the bark and the hardwood. Now, sometimes you'll get beetles that kind of move along through here, and that's what people really desire for their live edge tables and all that. But for what you're building, or for what we're building for your shelves here, I thought that would complement the shelves very well. Once we put these together and leave some of these rough sawmill marks in there, I think you're going to have exactly what you're looking for to match your credenza.
Alright Jim, so you picked up this wood from Les Steen Hardwoods in North Little Rock, and it's rough milled lumber.
Yes.
So you take it and turn it into workable lumber for this project. So how do you go about doing that?
Well, for today's project, really all I care about is just getting all the lumber to the same thickness. We're looking for something that's dirty, used, beat up, or distressed, or whatever the hipsters call it these days. First, I would normally square it up using my jointer and using my table saw, which is also a workstation right now, and would square the board, and then I would run it to my planer until I got the desired thickness I want. In today's case, it's going to be 7/8 inch. All I'm going to be doing after that is using that nice plane surface for my biscuit cutter to lay its fence on, so that every board has the same reference when I make that cut. Because these are all going to be joined together with little oval biscuits. If people don't know what they are, they should probably just choke themselves. I don't care. Anyway, I'm putting these together with biscuits. Don't choke yourselves. There's a lot of important things in your life that you may do, but probably not. So that's all I do, and that gives us this nice side here to show for our distressed shelf. After that, I'm just going to cover it up with some polyurethane, spray polyurethane. It's not going to have a whole lot of traffic on it, so I'm not worried about wear and tear. The only thing they really got to worry about is how they're going to clean these shelves, because there's still going to be little rough edges on it, which they'll probably just use a vacuum or something to that effect. Don't use cotton or anything like that, because you'll get a bunch of little pieces of cotton stuck in little barbs of wood there. The only thing I'll remove that is fire, and if you got that far, don't play with fire.
Alright, Jim, so here's our piece freshly out of the planer, and it looks beautiful, all smooth, nice, but I did notice that you have a little bit of what I'll call a ramp there, and you can actually kind of see it right here in the video. Explain what that involves.
Well, that's the bugger called snipe. Alright, woodworkers hate that, especially us amateur guys. It comes from using a, well, some will say the guy's lying, but from my experience, non-industrial grade equipment. Now you see, I've got my planer kind of cut into a cross section right here so you can see what's going on. This right here is the snipe. Alright, so this is lower than this. Now as you feed that wood in there, you have a roller that grabs it, it runs up and it hits this little cutter wheel here that's running the other way. And so when it hits there, sometimes it wants to kick up a little bit before this outfeed roller can feed it the rest of the way through. That's why everything else is nice and neat. Now on the other side of that, if you apply lifting force to it, you can alleviate a lot of the exit snipe as well. Now on the inside, when you're feeding it, you may want to lift up on the wood and make it kind of go in at an angle, if you will. Not as such as a dramatic angle, but just enough to keep it wanting to lay nice and flat on the floor here. That's key. Make sure it's nice and flat. But other than that, you either got to live with it or sand it off.
Alright, Jim, I love this. It's exactly the look we're looking for. Very pretty. The one question I do have is, how do we preserve and protect this wood without having a high gloss or anything like that? We want to keep it just as is.
That's pretty easy. We're going to use a spray polyurethane on it. Very easy. It's not going to be a high traffic item. So I'm just going to use a dull finish polyurethane, which I shot this with semi-gloss, so bear with me, which would turn your walnut that shade, and it's something a little bit darker, but will definitely show your grain patterns a lot more. Should look pretty good. Just a nice even coat over it, maybe 2 or 3 coats. We'll call it good.
Alright, so there you have it. Field trip over to Jim, who does the woodwork here. I'm going to get out of his way so he can continue building the rest of the shelves for this. Jim, if they wanted to reach out to you, is there any way that they could get a hold of you?
Sure. Check out, well, not check out, but just email me at hercasaurus@gmail.com, and I'm sure Eric will spell that out in the credits.
It'll be down below.
Yeah.
Whatever that means. But, alright, thanks for hanging out. Till next time.